From a heartbroken Minion who almost stopped Gru's wedding to prove that Despicable Me, Sing, and The Secret Life of Pets all secretly share the same universe, today we're breaking down 10 hidden secrets from this franchise that most fans have completely missed. But first, if Kevin, Stuart, or Bob is your favorite, drop a banana emoji. And if you're a Gru loyalist through and through, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Number 1. The Minion who almost stopped Gru's wedding. Did you know one heartbroken Minion nearly derailed Gru and Lucy's entire wedding? In Despicable Me 2, Dave falls hopelessly in love with Lucy throughout the film, following her around, trying to win her over, to the point where he genuinely imagines an entire future life with her by his side. That storyline almost went even further in an early version of the film. In a deleted version of the wedding scene, every single Minion and family member is shown celebrating together inside the venue, except for Dave, who was deliberately left standing outside so he couldn't ruin the moment for everyone else. That scene never made the final cut of the movie. Instead, it was replaced with something arguably even more devastating: the now iconic montage of Dave singing Bella Ciao in Spanish, quietly mourning the loss of the one person he thought he'd spend his life with. It's played for laughs on the surface, but once you know the backstory, it hits very differently. Number 2. Why the Minions don't understand death. Here's the strangest thing about the Minions, and it isn't that they're immortal, it's that they genuinely don't seem to grasp the concept of death at all. They've survived dinosaurs, volcanoes, ice ages, medieval wars, and even Napoleon, existing for millions upon millions of years across the entire span of human history. Yet, when one of them gets flattened, blown up, frozen solid, or launched straight into outer space, the rest of the group barely reacts, sometimes even laughing about it seconds later. Not because they're heartless or chaotic, but because in their world, none of those things are actually fatal to begin with. Think about what that would do to a mind that's lived through millions of years of consequence-free chaos. Fear simply stops existing as a concept. Risk stops meaning anything at all. Embarrassment probably causes them more genuine pain than physical injury ever could. It explains everything about their behavior: the reckless experimenting, the constant button pressing, the laughing during explosions that would terrify any normal creature. They're not brave in the traditional sense. They're biologically incapable of understanding why anyone else would ever be scared in the first place, because for them, death isn't an ending. It's just something that keeps happening over and over, forever. Number 3. How Gru actually got his pet, Kyle. We finally have an explanation for one of the strangest background details in the entire franchise. Kyle. In the very first Despicable Me movie, Gru's so-called dog looks more like a mutated cross between a piranha and an actual dog, complete with rows of sharp teeth, and the film never bothers to explain how he ended up with a creature like that. In Minions and Monsters, we finally learn the Minions stumble across an ancient spellbook capable of summoning and transforming creatures from entirely different worlds. In one of the post-credit scenes, Kevin, Stuart, and Bob are shown playing around with that exact book near a completely ordinary leashed dog that clearly belongs to a much younger Gru. After they read a spell straight out of that book, that same normal, harmless dog transforms right in front of them into the rabid, piranha-like creature we now know as Kyle, which means the Minions themselves, completely by accident, are directly responsible for creating Gru's most iconic pet. Number 4. Why Max understood the Minions before anyone else did. Here's a quiet detail that actually explains why the Minions eventually bonded with Gru so deeply. In Minions and Monsters, filmmaker Max is the one who first discovers the Minions and helps launch their early career in Hollywood, turning them into genuine stars. When the film industry eventually moves on and the studio decides to let them go, Max is the only person who actually shows up in person to say goodbye to them. More importantly, he's one of the only humans in the entire story who knows every single Minion by name, instead of treating them as one interchangeable group. That single detail explains almost everything that happens later in the franchise. The Minions don't just wander the earth searching for the most powerful villain to serve, they're searching for someone who actually sees them as individuals instead of replaceable yellow workers. Max gave them a taste of that recognition first. Gru is the one who eventually gave it to them permanently, treating them not as expendable employees, but as genuine family. Number 5. 4 Easter eggs hidden in Despicable Me 2. Here's how much this sequel manages to hide in plain sight if you actually pause and look. When Gru is first taken to the secret AVL headquarters, the 2 scientists briefing him on the stolen serum are named Renault and Coffin, a direct nod to Chris Renault and Pierre Coffin, the real-life creators of the entire franchise. While Gru walks through his jam and jelly lab on his way to work, one Minion dives headfirst into a bucket of fruit and comes back up wearing it like a hat, a subtle visual reference to Chiquita banana branding. When Gru tucks the girls into bed later that night, you can spot a tiny toy Minion riding a miniature unicorn sitting on the shelf directly directly above their actual unicorn plush from the first film. And when Gru and Lucy sneak into a restaurant in disguise, a guard chicken crawls up into Gru's shirt and bursts back out moments later in a shot deliberately staged to mirror the infamous chest-burster scene from Alien, right down to the framing. If you're enjoying these hidden secrets, make sure you're subscribed because we're just getting started. Number 6. The baby nose detail nobody can unsee. Here's a tiny animation detail that somehow slipped past almost every viewer on first watch. In Despicable Me 4, both of Gru and Lucy's new baby's parents are drawn with famously large, sharp, almost weapon-like noses throughout the entire franchise. Yet the baby itself is animated with a small, simple, rounded nose that doesn't visually match either parent in the slightest. It's such a small and oddly specific inconsistency in an otherwise carefully designed film that once you actually notice it, it becomes genuinely hard to unsee in every single scene that baby appears in afterward. Number 7. What could Despicable Me 5 actually look like? Here's a theory floating around about where this franchise could realistically go next. What if Scarlet Overkill somehow escapes from prison and frees Balthazar, Brat, El Macho, and Vector in the process, uniting every major villain from the franchise's history under one banner? That would force the AVL into an all-out war against every villain they've ever fought at once, pushing them to rush the development of their ultimate weapon, the Mega Minions, before they're completely overwhelmed and wiped out for good. If they fail, the villains permanently seize control of the world, setting up what could realistically be the franchise's biggest and most explosive final showdown yet. Number 8. The darkest minions. Theories fans actually believe. Here are 5 theories that get progressively darker as you go. At number 5, the minions are functionally ageless, having existed and served countless masters for millions of years without a single visible sign of aging. At number 4, their blind loyalty has repeatedly caused real historical disasters throughout time, since they've served the wrong masters again and again without ever questioning the consequences. At number 3, some fans believe the minions were never actually found by Gru at all. They were the ones quietly searching for the perfect villain to serve the entire time, long before he ever appeared. At number 2, after losing a leader, the minions have historically been shown isolating themselves inside hidden caves for entire generations, suggesting they may genuinely be incapable of functioning without someone to serve and follow. And at number 1, the theory fans simply cannot stop joking about the unexplained, conspicuous gap in the Minions documented timeline that lines up almost exactly with the years of World War II, a question the franchise has pointedly never directly answered on screen. Number 9. 4 hidden references in Despicable Me 4. Here's what most people completely missed in this installment. When Poppy, the family's eccentric new neighbor after they enter witness protection, is first introduced, her elaborate pink treehouse lair contains multiple background references to LSP, the exact same initials as the villain school Gru once secretly attended as a child. Her entire lair is also cat-themed from top to bottom, and she's shown affectionately stroking a pure white cat in a direct visual nod to classic Bond villain Ernst Blofeld from the film From Russia with Love. Later in the movie, the school principal is shown falling out of her own bed and landing directly into a wheelchair, a clear visual nod to Professor Xavier from the X-Men franchise. And in the Minions break room scene, one of the background Mega Minions is shown sporting a distinctly cone-shaped head, a subtle reference to the classic Conehead sketches from decades of Saturday Night Live. Number 10. Does Despicable Me secretly connect the entire Illumination universe? Here's a theory that ties 3 seemingly unrelated franchises together into one shared universe. In Despicable Me 3, there's a theater shown briefly on screen that looks completely unremarkable at first glance, until you realize it's the exact same theater used for the singing auditions in Sing. That alone would already be a fun coincidence worth noting. But then there's Agnes's beloved unicorn plush from the very first film, which reappears years later in The Secret Life of Pets as an actual tattoo on one of the animal characters. And then comes the detail that makes this connection almost impossible to dismiss as pure coincidence. In The Secret Life of Pets, a background human character casually walking through Central Park is unmistakably Gru himself, animated in full detail. Despicable Me, Sing, and The Secret Life of Pets may not actually be 3 separate, unrelated stories at all. They might all be quietly unfolding within the exact same shared universe the entire time. And that's it. Which one of these hidden secrets surprised you the most? Let me know in the comments. If you want the next part, hit that like button and make sure you're subscribed, because we're uncovering even more secrets next time.